We had so much fun in our last video looking at all of the 1-star reviews of some of our favorite and some of our not so favorite books that it really made us start thinking about our own 1-star reviews. And I think it's time we revisit those books.
And talk some smack. Welcome back. My name is Elena.
My name's Erin. And today we are going to do something that I have called the best worst book playoffs.
TM.
Yeah, TM, whatever. So what we are going to do is we have each chosen 8 of our very least favorite books of all time. 1-star reviews all around. We are going to pit them head to head against each other until we whittle it down to one remaining book each. Now, the way it will work is that one remaining book is theoretically
the best of the worst.
The best of the worst. Here is the bracket. We are doing separate playoffs.
Oh, I see. It's elimination style.
Yeah, it's elimination style.
I'm showing off because I just learned what an elimination bracket is, because the bracket I did in my reading journal it's deeply flawed. And I was looking at it, I was like, what happened here? So I have multiple slots where the same books go up against each other like 3 times.
Oh.
So brackets are not my strong suit. I mean, it'll still work out in the end. There's just extra slots, essentially.
Okay. All right. Nobody's pointed that out to you yet. Everybody's just laughing behind your back.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God.
This girl's never watched a sport in her life.
And they're right. Yeah, the winner, we're going to reread it and see if it can inch its way out of the 1-star category.
Or we're just looking to make our lives miserable and we want to reread a shit book.
Speak for yourself. I love a hate read.
I don't want to waste my time. I don't know. This is why the stakes are so high, is because our time is precious. And if we're going to reread a shit book, it better be for a reason.
Yeah. High stakes. Maybe we should read each other's least worst book.
Do you mean like you'll
pick them out? Yeah, we'll pick them out.
Oh my God. So like you have to read the one that I pick and I have to read the one you pick? I'm definitely way more into that because then I'm not rereading.
I think that's fun.
Yeah.
And then we get to see if the other one is also like, yeah, this is a 1-star.
There's already one that I know that's in your list that I will die if I have to read.
Okay,
I'm already terrified. There's no way you're going to pick it, though. You hated this book. Okay. Anyway, okay, we'll see. All right, so change of rules. We are going to whittle it down to our best, worst book, and then the other person will have to read it. It makes a lot more sense that way. Ooh, now I'm going to, lie and make you read a shit book.
Wow.
No, okay, I'll do it fair. But it has changed things slightly. Okay. Matt, come on, Echo. I'm going to choose my first 2 for the mashup. Do you want to hold my bowl?
Yes.
Okay, ready? 1, 2. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, the first one is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This was a super popular Dracula romance novel, and it's supposed to be about Dracula's wife.
Like his harem?
Kind of, yeah, his harem. There's literally no plot. I was shocked at how little happened in this book, character development and otherwise. I was really disappointed. Okay, second in the mashup is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. I hated this book.
Everyone loves this book except you.
Because I think it's cool to like this book. Honestly, I am a huge feminist. You know that.
Yes.
This is feminism on steroids, okay? It's highly unrealistic. The main character is not cool. She has 0 development. She thinks that she is the shit and has literally no development. She's proved right over and over. And as I'm saying this, I can understand how you might think that this would be great for women. It's not a good book.
Okay, yeah, I get it. It's a feminist message, but it's heavy-handed and
it's not well done. I just really, really was disappointed by this, and it was a solid 1-star. So we have A Dowry of Blood versus Lessons in Chemistry. That's hard because I hated them for such different reasons. But both of them were hyped.
Yeah, they're similar in that
really
way.
Disappointing. I would probably read A Dowry of Blood. before I ever picked up lessons in chemistry again. I cannot read about Elizabeth Zott ever again in my life. I would rather read a vampire orgy.
Well, that's good, because so would I.
I'm not going to let this one win because Elena will like it too much. Don't worry.
It's too easy.
For this matchup, it wins. Okay. Pick your two.
So my first two 1-star reads. Starting off with Powerless by Elsie Silver. This is the third book in the Chestnut Spring series, which I read at the beginning of my cowboy romance era. And I loved this series, but this book in particular, I have said before that it might be the worst book I've ever read.
I was going to say that if you didn't. You have said that before. You were appalled throughout the entirety of this book.
I hated it. I hated it.
You were like, is this the same author? I think something has happened to her. Yeah. It was.
I don't know what she was thinking with this one. It's not even a cowboy romance. Like, he's a hockey player. And I have nothing against hockey players, but I do have something against their sexual dynamic in this book because it's weird.
I thought you were just going to be like the sexual dynamics of hockey players. Yeah.
Well, this is the only hockey romance I've ever read. And like, if this is how they are,
we will not be reading Pucking Around. Okay, what's the other one?
Oh, man. Okay, and then the other one is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Oh my god. Okay, here's the situation.
You've talked about this so many times.
And I've talked so much smack, and I feel like I'm the only one. People like this book a lot.
Yeah.
I
kind of want to read it, though, because now I'm like, ooh, maybe you are deranged, and it's actually good.
I kind of want you to read it because I know you will agree with me because it's so, so bad. It's horribly cheesy. There are a bunch of children characters that are very poorly done, very two-dimensional.
Yeah.
And then you have the love interest who is just about the most dour, wet blanket, evil guy you can think of, who does terrible, messed up things and supports a terrible, messed up system right up until he meets a hot guy. And then suddenly it's like,
that feels very realistic to me.
If this hot guy says we should be accepting of everyone, maybe we should.
The world needs more hot guys
Apparently.
to help us all be kind.
And then there's the whole thing about how T.J. Klune said in a podcast that he wrote this book because he was inspired by the 60s scoop, and it's just icky. It's just icky.
Yeah.
Oh, this is... I'm realizing how hard this is.
Yeah.
Because I hate these books.
The stakes are high for me now. Like, I didn't think I would have to stress about your choices, and now I'm a little stressed by your choices.
The thing is, I am going to move forward The House in the Cerulean Sea. Mainly because that shower scene in Powerless. For that reason, I'm putting forward The House in the Cerulean Sea.
Wow. Okay. Second match up for round one. First one is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Another classic.
Very hyped
book that I really, really did not like. Again, main character is literally a wet blanket. It was so predictable. I really don't understand why people think that this was like life-changing or like deep, so deep, and they found it like so profound. There was nothing about this book that was like, it really followed a very specific formula and came to the conclusion that you probably could have guessed. I just really didn't like this book. The other choice is, Book of Night by Holly Black. This is my first Holly Black book, and it was her first adult novel.
I forgot that you read this.
I think it's unfortunate that I started here instead of somewhere like The Cruel Prince because, you know, she was trying something new here. The magic system in this is kind of cool. It has to do with shadows and like shadows being used as weapons and kind of sentient. I can't even fully remember. But it was very poorly executed. I rolled my eyes through this whole book. I thought it was so dumb. I was very confused by Holly Black's hype after reading this.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is the Book of Night spicy?
No.
So what makes it adult?
It's darker themed. To be honest, though, I think it is going to be Book of Night going forward. Because it's the first in a series, and I do remember that I still thought I might read the second one. It left me a little bit of like
a little
curiosity there that I was like, well, I kind of want to see what happens. Whereas anything else that Matt Haig writes, I'm not going to pick up because I just really don't think he's that good of a writer.
Overrated.
So yeah, I'm going to go ahead with Book of Night.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is the most fun part.
It's just
getting
them
the
out.
names out of the jar. All right, we have. Oh, okay. I've been wanting a reason to talk smack about this book. Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. I have been reading a Murakami book every year since 2018 when I read Kafka on the Shore. And I love that book. It like sets the standard for magical realism for me. It's amazing. And I really like almost all of the other Murakamis that I've read.
Yeah.
Norwegian Wood is the one that put him on the map. So like 2 years ago, I thought, okay, I should probably read the one that is the reason for the Murakami, you know?
How can you, he's like one of your favorite authors. How can he have one of your least favorite books?
This book is so bad. It's so bad. First of all, it doesn't have that surreal, magical realism element. There's almost nothing magical in this book. It's about a man looking back at his youth and the women that he knew at that time. And the man is like the most unlikable man you could possibly imagine. And I can imagine a pretty unlikable man, okay? The whole book is just about like horny college students, pick-me girls. All of the women are super, super weak and submissive.
I mean, I thought that that's what his whole vibe was generally, or maybe it's just this book.
I feel like in his other works, there are some icky undertones like that, but it's depicted as a bad thing with consequences. And in this one, the main character clearly thinks of himself as a super nice guy, even though he's a hypocrite, a huge manipulator, and just uses women around him for their bodies. So and that one is going up against, what a shock, another book I hate. It's Girl, Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. I take back what I said about Powerless. This might actually be the worst book I've ever read.
You're going to say that about all of these.
I guess you're right. I feel very strongly about these.
Okay.
I freaking hate this book. It's horrible. And not just this book, I hate Rachel Hollis.
Yeah.
I'm just going on record and saying I hate her. She is the biggest hypocrite in the self-development space, bar none. And this entire book is a slap in the face to women everywhere. It's not helpful. It's actively harmful.
These both sound pretty rough.
Yeah, I hate these books. I hate both of these books so much.
If you make me read a Murakami book, I'm going to be so annoyed. But this is the one that I was terrified of you picking for me, is the Rachel Hollis book.
Luckily for you, I hate this book more than
really
almost anything else.
Yeah.
Although I kind of want to make you read it because then we can hate it together. You would hate her.
I've never read a Murakami though, so I don't know why I'm pushing that one forward. That one sounds terrible too.
It is slightly less terrible actually.
Okay.
And like Norwegian Wood is one of those that I gave it 2 stars and then went back later and was like, it's actually a 1 star, isn't it? Versus Girl, Wash Your Face just filled me with rage from the get-go.
It was a 0 star?
Yeah.
Okay, so Norwegian Wood it is.
I have your bowl.
Okay, my next match up.
How come you only have 1 left in here?
Oh, fuck. I think I put 1 in here. Okay, corrected.
Okay,
sorry about that.
All right, good.
Okay, the first one in this round is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akweke Emezi. This is so bad, and as we've said before, the cover is so beautiful, and it's so mean that they would do that, because the book inside is a bunch of bullshit. If you have not seen our 1-star reviews video, please go look at the Goodreads reviews that were mentioned in that video, because they sum it up perfectly. This is just about a chick who gets with literally anything she can see and then gaslights everyone into making it okay that she is with her boyfriend's father. And that's it. That's the story. Yeah, I don't understand why she thought people would be okay with that, but okay. All right, and that will be going up against Gallant by V.E. Schwab. This was my first V.E. Schwab book. No, it's not. Addie LaRue was my first. And I hated that too.
Oh my God, I always forget that that's V.E. Schwab.
For sure. You know, when I was choosing the 8 books to pick, I only wanted to take one of her books, obviously. And Gallant won. Because there's so many plot holes in this story. It to the point where it's distracting. Somebody should have edited this. Somebody should have figured out like that there were these blatant... Oh.
My heart just stopped. Oh God, that was terrifying.
It's V.E. Schwab coming to get me.
She's after us. Whenever things like that happen, I realize that in a true crisis, I would be totally and completely useless. Because if that, like the door slammed open and my brain was like, it's a murderer, you're gonna die right now. And what was my reaction? Nothing.
Do you remember when you told me that if an intruder came into your house, that what you would do
I know exactly what I would do.
Is throw up on yourself? Because I don't even know why. Like, what do you think's gonna happen then? That they won't want to touch you because you...
Yeah, it's gross. They're gonna be like, oh, I'm out of here. It's a genius strategy. I stand by.
Being like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're not gonna...
That's what the murderer's gonna think.
Okay, anyway. Gallant is not a good book. I don't think it's considered one of her best books. I don't know why I chose this.
I think it has a really cool cover with like the red and everything.
I mean, even the premise of the book is there's a lot she could have done with this, but I just thought it was very, very bad.
Okay, which one is slightly more...
I mean, it's definitely... I'm going to have to choose Gallant because You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty is so bad that I would never subject you to that.
Thank you.
Please just look at the cover and enjoy it and know that you are not having to be subject to the rest of this
I read
book.
all those 1-star reviews about it and yeah.
It's bad.
Okay, here we have... Oh. Yeah, look. It's The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins.
You've like rediscovered your hate for this book recently.
Yeah, well, I mean, I rediscovered it last year when all of the songbird and snake stuff started popping up again, and everyone on the internet was like, The Hunger Games, it's so, so good. Be real with yourself. This was only good to you when you were 13. But even as a teenager, which I haven't read these, admittedly, since I was a teenager, I hated them. I hated them all.
Did you like the movies better?
Yes, I always say this is one of very few times when the movies were actually better than the books.
Okay.
The books are some of the laziest, weakest writing I've ever read. The amount of times that Katniss gets really, really hurt and then just passes out and then just wakes up in a hospital setting, you can get away with that maybe once. She does it, like, in my memory, 3 to 5 times per book.
Yeah.
Okay, per book. And talk about the weakest love triangle I've ever read about in my life. I mean, Peeta versus Gale, come on. It was very obvious who she would choose from the get-go. And then guess what? She doesn't even choose. I know this is spoiler stuff, but these have been out for like a zillion years.
Yeah, for sure. This is like...
And literally, she doesn't choose between them. She just wakes up in the hospital again for the zillionth time. And it's like, Gale moved away. Guess we can't pick him anymore. And she's like, yeah, I picked Peeta. It's like, well, no shit. Gale moved away. You don't have a
choice.
So that's The Hunger Games. Just my opinion. All right. Oh, okay. The other one is The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Dalila Harris. This is a thriller. It's about a girl who is tired of being the only black girl in the office in her publishing company. And then they hire another black girl. And at first she's all psyched because they can bond, you know. But then the other black girl starts sort of undermining her. And then she starts receiving these threatening notes. And she begins to suspect something evil is at play. This got made into a TV show on Hulu recently. So some people must have loved it. But it actually has a low rating on Goodreads. So I know I'm not the only one that read this and thought, what
problematic
did I just read? So problematic. The top reviewer says this was written by a black woman, but not for a black woman. And I mean, I think that says it all. First of all, it's boring, and a thriller should never be boring. Yeah. Okay? And the ending is so weak, and the author just betrays all of her characters, essentially. Dang. So it's pretty bad. I really hated that book. This is a hard one though. Okay, The Hunger Games.
These
or
are
the
very
other Black
different
Girl.
books.
Very different. And I don't feel as much hatred for either one of them as I did some of the past matchups.
Okay. This is probably good that they're against each other then.
Yeah.
It's even.
Yeah, it's more of an even playing field. Okay, so it's tempting to move forward The Other Black Girl because I want you to read it.
If you're moving forward the Hunger Games.
But I think in terms of which one I hated less.
Okay, fine.
It's been so long since I read The Hunger Games that maybe it's not as bad as I remember it being.
Okay. I don't know. To be honest, I'm not sure if I actually ever read the books. So are we going with the Hunger Games?
I'm going to move forward The Hunger Games.
I win! Yay. Okay. My last ones for this round are... The Celebrants by Stephen Rowley. This is about 5 friends. And I listened to it on audiobook where it was read by the author. And the friends, literally, these are not friends. These are assholes who are being assholes to each other in the most whiny narration I have ever heard in my life. I actually DNF'd this, which does not happen very often because it was making me miserable. Hated that one.
What were they supposed to be celebrating?
They would make pretend funerals for everybody and spend a weekend like commemorating that person even though they weren't dead. And it's supposed to just like make them feel better. I don't know. Conveniently, it's put against another book that I hate. Well, these are all books I hate. Yeah. Okay. Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. I've spoken about this before. I will willingly admit I might just be too stupid to have understood this book.
I love talking about this book.
Because it is about a man, a husband, a newlywed, who is slowly transforming into a great white shark.
Literally.
Growing gills. And
Animorphs.
Yes, animorphs. It's supposed to be very deep, obviously. Like, she's obviously trying to say something here. I feel like you could have done a lot with this plot, and it is very, like, a cool premise. I didn't like it. Oh my god, this is hard. I think I'm still gonna have to put Shark Heart forward because the Celebrants was literally a DNF because they were such assholes. I couldn't even get through it. And Shark Heart, at least I was like, what happens? Not much, but you know, I found out. So, okay, I'm gonna go with Shark Heart.
Oh my god, amazing.
Stephen Rowley, do not narrate your own books.
Okay, I have, oh yeah. Oh, this book was so bad. The Maidens by Alex Michaelides? You know, he wrote The Silent Patient. Yeah, that guy. Another thriller that was real bad. I really did not like this book at all. It's very pretentious. It's very badly written. And it has like a twist that's just like horribly shoehorned in. Like it makes no sense. And then he tries to do all this backtracking of like, no, see, it does make sense. Because actually, you thought this, but... That's just because I told you. And you didn't know this because I didn't tell you that. And I'm just like, well, yeah.
Solid rating there.
And then...
I can't even remember what this last one is.
Me neither. Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. I was going to say I really gave this a go, but I really didn't give this a go. I read like 2 chapters. It was audiobook. I made it like maybe 10 minutes in on like double speed, but still. Because here's the situation. This book opens on a descriptive scene of like a dead body, which like whatever, but then there's maggots. Okay,
like is it very descriptive?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
very descriptive. I do not do bugs. I could not handle the maggots. I don't even. Okay, the trigger warnings involved things like lobotomized slaves, cannibalism, all kinds of crazy stuff.
People loved this, though.
I know. It's supposed to be like quirky and
edgy,
like kind of dark romance type thing.
But no.
But I could not make it past the grossness of that first chapter.
So what are you gonna pick?
Icky.
I know what you're gonna pick.
I'm actually gonna pick Butcher and Blackbird to move forward, though.
You're doing that to spite me.
No.
You are!
Well, okay, the rest of it seems like everybody liked it. So I think maybe it just started off bad.
Okay.
You know, similarly to Bride, the first couple pages of Bride I really didn't like, but I stuck it out and didn't love, but
tolerated. Yes.
the rest of the book.
Okay.
And I think I might have gotten there with Butcher and Blackbird if it hadn't been specifically bugs that it started off with.
Fine. That's mean. All right, we are on to round 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have A Dowry of Blood versus Book of Night, which is interesting because these are kind of similar books in a lot of ways. They're like sort of fantasy-esque. My best worst of these, it's gonna have to be, I'm shocked at this, but it's gonna be Book of Night. Book of Night is going forward.
Wow. Okay. Maybe Holly Black will get her redemption.
Yeah, maybe I hated this slightly less than I thought. Okay. What about your round?
My first 2 were The House on the Cerulean Sea and Norwegian Wood.
Oh, I'm scared.
Which I hate both of these. And this is really hard to choose between because, like I said before, Norwegian Wood, I even gave it 2 stars at first and then went back later and thought, actually, no, I actually really didn't like it and dropped it down to 1. And then The House on the Cerulean Sea, I kind of think it would be a 2-star book if not for the 60s scoop issue that makes it problematic to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're both problematic.
Yeah.
So, but which one? I think I'm going to put forward The House on the Cerulean Sea.
Phew. I really don't want to read a Murakami.
I mean, if you end up reading it, you're going to hate it. You're going to hate it. And I'm thinking about, like, if it was a random stranger and I had to choose between one of these 2 to make a random stranger read.
Yeah.
I would be slightly less embarrassed.
Okay. To have it be House of the Cerulean Sea.
Only slightly, though.
Okay. No, that's actually a very good way to think about
Hopefully
it.
they don't Google it.
All right. My next matchup this round was Gallant by V.E. Schwab versus Shark Heart.
This is hard, isn't it?
This is really hard. Okay, I'm going to have to go with the same logic. If I had to suggest a book to somebody, I would be slightly less embarrassed to suggest Gallant. Because if someone read Shark Heart and thought that this was something that I suggested in any way, shape, or form, I would feel very concerned. Like they might think things of me that I don't think I want people to think of me. Or worse, they could read it and get it.
Oh no.
And I'll just know that I'm even more of a dumbass than I thought. So we're going to go with Gallant.
All right. This is looking good for me. Okay, and my next matchup is The Hunger Games versus Butcher and Blackbird.
Don't use the logic.
That logic it falls apart on this one because one of them has a 30-page spicy scene, I've heard, and the other one is for children. So the stranger logic kind of falls apart here. Okay, I think I'm putting forward...
I'm so stressed about this. Go with your gut.
All right.
Just be honest.
My gut is saying to put forward Butcher and Blackbird.
What? That is not what I thought you were going to say. Okay,
I think it might just be me. I think it might just be me. Everyone else seemed to really like this book. I think I might be just particularly the wrong person to read that one.
Okay. I wouldn't be ashamed of not liking lobotomized servants and maggots and stuff like that.
It's so embarrassing. And The Hunger Games is just not good. Okay, yeah. I'm putting up Butcher and Blackbird.
I don't know what logic you used there, but we'll go with it. I did not really want to read The Hunger Games anyway.
All right, what are your top 2?
All right, down to the championship, we have Gallant by V.E. Schwab and Book of Night by Holly Black. This is shocking to me that this is where we are.
Yeah, they're kind of similar.
Yeah, but I guess I get it. Some of these other ones were really, really, really shit. And these 2, they had a lot of faults. They're still 1 stars, but
I actually think there's a chance that I could like either of those. Which one do you think I'm
not going by that. I'm going by which one
Fair enough.
is the least worst of the 2 of them. And I'm going to I can't believe this, but the winner of my playoff is The Book of Night by Holly Black.
Winner.
Okay,
because the ending went somewhere and I'm curious, and it was the least worst book out of this bunch. I didn't know that until right now. So you will be reading your first Holly Black book.
All right, let's see how this goes.
Let's do it.
Great. You're gonna read Butcher and Black.
Damn it!
Winner!
Because I'm looking at these, and The House in the Cerulean Sea cannot be the best worst book.
Yeah. I mean, I will agree that you talked way too much shit about that for it to win.
It cannot. It cannot be that one.
But to be fair, are you sure? Are you sure that Butcher? I mean, okay, fine.
What, are you scared of maggots?
Yes, I'm not really into bugs either. And to be frank, I don't want to put this on my Goodreads.
She always says that.
I'm serious. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so those will have to go on our TBRs for next month, and then we'll see.
We'll report back.
Yeah, they live up to their terrible hype.
Watch us both love the other one's best worst book.
You actually might like the Book of Night, and then I'll be kind of annoyed.
It could happen.
Yeah. Okay, well, we will see. But this was fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. Every reader has their own individual likes and dislikes and hang-ups. So it'll be fun to see how we feel about each other's best worst book.
That sounded so librarian-esque. The point is, read.
Yeah, whatever it is that you like, even if it's lobotomized slaves, read it.
If you liked this video, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We really, really appreciate it. We're having so much fun doing these videos and love all of the comments. Please let us know what your worst books are. Force us to read them somehow.
We will.
We might, if you give a good enough argument.
Yeah. And until our next video, see you soon.